My name is Michael Dana. In 2008, I was diagnosed with a rare brain cancer, and after 6 years, I was cancer-free. But the ordeal left me changed, with a different outlook on life and a new sense of priorities. While still recovering, I earned a degree in economics from UNC Chapel Hill. My studies taught me to analyze data and open my mind to see things differently. I also started formal training in the martial arts to better defend myself and use it as a means of extreme physical therapy. Since then, I've obtained black belts in 3 martial arts. I own and run a martial arts school and have logged over 51 teaching hours. To my friends and family, I'm a simple business owner. But to the martial arts world, I'm something else. I am Sifu Mike, and this is Dragon Theory.
Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're doing well today. We got another episode of my theory on all things martial arts, okay? I'm Sifu Mike. I'm going to explain a little bit today about the martial art industry as far as a business is concerned. Alright, so not just talking about the whole deal, because really this entire series has been about the martial arts industry. Alright, everything within all of martial arts. This episode specifically, I'm talking about the business aspect. So, if you're not interested in doing a martial art business, you know, just watch the video anyways, right? I want my views. I want you to be educated in these things, because if you're a student, this will definitely apply to you, so you can understand and recognize and see where it's going. The whole idea behind this is just to educate people, to get you to understand better why things are the way they are. Alright, that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to just present as much knowledge as I can to help educate people to understand better the things that are going on. Because some people are not wrong. Alright, they're just ignorant. Right? And we can't fault them on that because they literally don't know any better. Right? And so that's why I'm making these videos, to help educate you, to make you the best you possible. And if you're interested in making a martial art business, this might be the video for you. So be sure to watch the whole thing, and you can also check out my other videos on my website, thedragonmethod.com. Okay, where I've got teaching tutorial videos on not just all aspects of like punching and kicking, a technique in the different martial arts, but I've got videos on how to specifically teach an individual class or an entire program. Alright, so from beginning to end, white belt to black belt and beyond, I've got everything on that website. Again, that's thedragonmethod.com. And I'm running a special right now, so you can get in there for a free trial for a pretty good amount of time. Alright, so I'm literally just giving it away to you guys because you guys are awesome. Alright, and I'm always adding stuff to that website all the time. Okay, just like I'm adding stuff to my YouTube channel, man. I've got over 250 videos on my YouTube channel just for you guys, because you guys rock. Anyways, been talking too much about me. I can talk about me all the time. I've been doing that. I got a lot of videos just on me. I'm going to talk about the martial art business. Okay, so a couple things to understand before we go on further is I'm working with a couple principles here. Most people, it's a psychological thing, right? Most people cannot accurately recognize a thing they've never seen before. Kind of makes sense, right? So we have this idea that most people can't recognize something that they've never seen before. So we got that. Keep that. File that away. Second thing is that the primary means of assessment that anybody has is comparison. Right? So they compare the data that they have to something else to get more data to see if it's good or bad or whatever like that. Comparison, big thing. So everybody does it. Right? In some cases, you're supposed to do it. Okay, so we have comparison and we have an inability to recognize the thing that you should be comparing yourself to. When you put those together, you have a recipe for what we have now in the martial arts industry. We have a bunch of people who have never seen a actual functioning business, right? But they've seen things that are similar to it, or maybe they're falsely attributing other things to it, to this success, and they're just doing that over and over again, and they have no idea because they've never actually seen what a good martial arts business is. Alright, again, not wrong, just ignorant, because they have an inability to recognize something that they've never seen before, right? And they're making false comparisons because they don't know what to compare it to. Makes total sense, alright? But this is why you have people who think that they're experts in doing a thing they've never actually done before, or something that they've never been trained to do in the first place. Okay, it's all related. In fact, really, this ties back into one of my previous videos where I talked about how doing martial arts, teaching martial arts, and running a martial arts business, three different skills. All right, this is a right hand. Right hand doesn't work too well, so I'm like, no, finger, get down, three. All right, 3 skills. I should just stuck with one hand, right? The whatever like that. So, so that's the thing. You have people who believe that because they're good at something, that this thing that's similar might be the thing that they're also good at. So I'm going to do that and declare myself an expert because I've never seen anybody who is actually an expert at doing this thing. All right. So you have these businesses that are all trying to think that they're awesome and comparing themselves to each other. Okay, that is the big thing that I want to get across, is that a lot of martial arts businesses are only comparing themselves to themselves. Okay, and the thing is, in a business practice, that is not wrong, right? In most businesses, you're supposed to compare yourself to your competition because that helps you get better, right? To see what they're doing and try to elevate yourself or do the opposite. Right? One of the biggest things in business, as far as if you have a product that's exactly the same as another product, just a different brand, right? If you tear down that brand, you can increase the credibility of your brand by doing that. I mean, that happens all the time. Like, really, politicians do that all the time. That's like their number one go-to things. They're going to tear down their opponent to bring themselves up because on paper, really, they're pretty much the same. They're all going for the same job. Anyways, that's politics. That's a separate video. Talking about business here, comparing yourself to yourselves. Now, the analogy that I like to use is that of an orchard, right? So you have an industry that is all one orchard, and you have different fruit that are your martial arts, okay? You might have apples, oranges, and limes, lemons, whatever like that. They're all in one orchard, okay? So a farmer comes along, and really all the fruit there from the very beginning is nothing but rotten, all right? And the farmer has never seen an actual ripe fruit that isn't rotten. So he just assumes this is how everything is supposed to be, and he compares one rotten fruit to another rotten fruit and says, oh, well, this fruit has less bruises, has maybe not a worm coming out of it, or less mold, or it's not as mushy, so it's better, right? But it's still rotten. But the thing is, he doesn't know the difference, right? You wouldn't know the difference until he looks into another orchard and compares rotten fruit to ripe fruit. Then he's like, oh man, this is what it's supposed to look like? This is, you know, firm and tasty and juicy and stuff like that, and there's no mold, there's no bruising, there's no, like, worms and stuff. So that's the kind of deal, is that they're making the wrong comparisons, because literally teaching a skill is not something that is exclusive to just the martial arts industry. That's a lot of different places that all do it very well. Providing a service, right, which is what martial arts teachers do, right, and what the whole martial art business is providing a service to people, to students who take the class, right? That is not exclusive to the martial arts industry. Okay, there are other industries that have done that very well. Okay, one of those industries is actually the food service industry. All right, they've been doing it for a long time. They're really good at it, right? So if you want to compare your martial arts industry or martial arts business to another business that gives a skill, right? Restaurant. I ran restaurants for, I've been in the food service industry for a long, long time, over a decade. So like I can run a restaurant from top to bottom, and I can tell you there's a whole lot of similarities between martial arts business and the restaurant business, right? You just kind of have to see those, and I'm an economist. I see those connections anyways. My brain kind of works differently anyways, and so they're there, right? And so when I really started like managing my business, martial arts business, kind of like a restaurant, everything started making sense. I was like, this is super easy now, okay? And so those connections are there, but you have to know what it is to compare yourselves to and really break down what it is you're trying to do, and stop thinking of it in terms of, oh, this is just this martial art or that martial art. No, it's a skill, it's a service, and I'm giving it to another human being. I'm communicating to another human being. That exists in other places. Alright, so stop comparing rotten fruit to rotten fruit and start comparing correctly, and then you can better learn. And part of that, and I've talked about it before, is context, is knowing your place in the world, right? Is knowing where you're at. Right? You can't effectively go forward if you don't know where you're at. Right? Otherwise you're just lost and you're repeating yourself and you're doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result, which is like the definition of something, but I can't remember. It's kind of crazy, right? But anyways, so what you want to do, right, is figure out where you're at, and that's going to be the best way to go forward, right? To understand your martial art, to understand your business and what you're trying to provide, whether or not you're a sport or self-defense or what. And the easiest way to do that, and I've said it before, is to learn about the techniques, not the actual martial art that is the techniques are in, but like the actual techniques, because everything was created for a reason, right? Find out what that reason is, and then you're going to find out the true history of the martial art. You know your place in the world, you know where it fits, and what you need to modify if you want to move to a different location, or a different thing in different contexts. Okay, so that's really how all of like mixed martial arts kind of work, is that we take this thing that works really well over here and we modify it just a little bit so it best fits this particular context, right? Do that with business, but to do that, you gotta know where you stand, man. You gotta know where you're at in the world in order to make the accurate comparison, to make the accurate context and move forward, right? Can't stress that enough. A lot of people don't know because they're literally just completely ignorant of the whole thing, and they deserve better. You as a student deserve better. Everybody deserves better, because when you start making these accurate comparisons, like I said, you can see, oh wow, I could be a whole lot better. There's so much room to improve, right? That's what I want to get across to everybody, is that you can always be better. Okay, everything can always be worse, but you can always be better. It's all how you look at it. So stop looking at just yourselves, right? Coming from a person who's literally looking at myself in the camera. So look at everything else that is around and understand that, hey, there are very similar skills in other industries that do them very well, right? That's what you want to go for, because that's what people deserve, is the absolute best. You want to be the absolute best business, and you also want to be the absolute best student, right? You deserve the best. You all deserve the best. Everything could be so much better. Anyways, I'm rambling on, talking long. I'm going to go ahead and end this. I got more videos to come every week, so make sure you subscribe. There's a button somewhere, right? Like this video and share with people, all kinds of things. I think I'm actually 11 people away, or 11 subscribers away from like 200, which is a great way to end this year. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, all those kind of things. And be sure to check out my social medias on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And I've got thedrunkenmethod.com. Make sure to go to that if you want to learn even more stuff. Got even more videos, man. Over 24 hours of footage just on that site for you guys to make you the best you possible. Alright, so I'm going to let you go. I'm Sifu Mike, and I will talk to you next week. Be good to each other, guys.